Hello, my name is Matt Brown. I'm the Director of Photography for the Los Angeles Angels. What you're about to hear is the first of many podcasts with photographers all across the country. Hope you enjoy it. Hello, my name is Matt Brown, and I'm here with the famous Michael Zagaris, the Oakland A's team photographer. Michael, thank you for being the very first of the Angels podcast.
Wow. Well, first of all, I think you meant infamous. And then first guy in the podcast. Huh?
First guy.
Wow. Well, good. You know, I won't feel like Country Joe and the Fish when they had to follow Led Zeppelin.
All right, first question. How and did you get this job?
Well, it was pretty crazy. I actually was asleep about 4 in the morning, and I got a phone call that woke me up from a good friend in the music business, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm here with Wally right now. You know Wally?" And I said, "Yeah, I know Wally." I had no idea who he was talking about. And he said, "We're looking at your pictures, man. He loves your shit. His dad just bought the A's. He wants you to be the team photographer." And I said, "Cool, man. It's cool." And he said, "So, yeah, come see him." And I hung up, went back to sleep. Kristen said, "Who was that?" I said, "Jack and some friend. They're probably coked out of their mind. Who knows?" So a month went by. I get a call from Jack. He goes, "Hey, how come you haven't called Wally?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "He's really hurt you haven't called him." Well, Wally turned out to be Wally Haas, who used to manage Sons of Chaplin. And they were a big band, and I actually did know Wally. And but I didn't equate the two. So I went in. Wally just laughed, said, "You don't have to show me anything. You've got the gig." And that's how I started out with the A's.
What year was that?
The end of 1980.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I'd been shooting baseball, helping Dennis with the Giants and shooting for Topps. I started in 71, 72, and I'd been with the Niners since 73. I was still shooting music, but I wasn't working for a team. So it was being in the right place at the right time, you know, like so many things in life.
So many things.
Yeah.
All right, like all photographers, do you have a favorite lens for baseball?
For me, probably the 16 to the 35, because what I prefer is shooting in the clubhouse, shooting in the dugout. And I love the action, don't get me wrong, but that allows you behind the scenes where most people never go, so you can bring the fans into the players' world.
Right.
And you also, with that lens, you get a sense of place as well as the player you're shooting, and of the environment and of the time.
Right. That's the advantage we have as a team photographer, to have that access.
Oh, we're so lucky. Yeah. I mean, it's something now more and more people pay for.
Sure.
Oh, $5,000, you can have dinner with the Who, and you can be behind the scenes. And it's, of course, not really that at all.
Right, not at all.
But, you know,
TV would kill to be where we could get.
Well, you know what? We're in the family.
Yeah.
And as you know, Matt, it's a matter at a certain point of trust.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, we become invisible. We are like a member of the family. Nobody's mugging. You're just kind of there. And the players are, for the most part, themselves. And that's what we're capturing.
That's the best thing.
Yeah. No.
That's the best thing. All right. What is your favorite stadium to shoot at?
My favorite stadium probably now would be Fenway Park.
Okay.
Just because of the rich history. I mean, unless you're in the playoffs, there aren't a lot of great vantage points to shoot from there.
Right.
But just shooting in Fenway is a trip. I used to love Tiger Stadium, Old Brick Stadium. That was incredible. And it was as much the history and the sight lines. I loved going out of the clubhouse down that long, narrow corridor, and then right as you got to the dugout, which was not even half the size of the dugouts now. I mean, players were spilled out.
Oh, yeah.
But there was the big, long urinal that you knew Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig,
Ty Cobb,
all the greats. have drained their lizards there. So, you know.
But that's great.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore.
No. And, you know, it smelled old. It smelled like spilled beer, mustard, popcorn. You could still smell like Captain Black's pipe tobacco. It smelled like an old ballpark.
What stadium do you wish you could have shot at? Something that was closed or gone where you never got to?
Ebbets Field in Brooklyn.
Okay, yeah.
I never shot there. You know, I went there once as a kid, and it was a trip. I could say Old Yankee Stadium. I was in Old Yankee Stadium, but never shot there. And it was different from the remodeled Yankee Stadium and the new Yankee Stadium. It's like, you know, a faux old ballpark.
Right, not even close to what the original was.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Favorite player to shoot
God,
over your time?
Yeah.
And you've had a lot.
You know, it's
You've had
hard.
Great guys.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one. Ricky.
Yeah.
I mean, Ricky as a player first, exciting. I mean, never a bad picture. But Ricky's one of those guys, even in the clubhouse, he was a prankster. Ricky's the guy you always want to sit next to, behind, or in front of, on the bus, on the plane. I mean, him just talking about the weather, it's better than a movie. I mean, half the time you'd be on the, you know, in the aisle holding your sides laughing. So yeah, probably if I had to choose one, which I'd never want to have to choose, it'd be Ricky.
What guy do you wish you could have shot? And that could be another great
You know
list.
what? I want to say Babe Ruth or Clemente. Clemente was growing up when I became a teenager. Of all the players I saw, he was without a doubt my favorite. He was the most electric. And it was one of those things you almost had to be there. Even when he swung and missed, it was like, oh my God. And when to watch him run the bases, and I'd never seen a player with an arm like that, and he was just regal.
Yeah, well, that's a good one right there.
Yeah.
Now, could you ever imagine yourself shooting Babe Ruth at home plate with a speed graphic? Could you have those cojones to do that?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, because you know what? In those days, Matt, that's what everybody did, and you wouldn't think about it. You know what I still do? I'll still go during the game, right before the first pitch, when the pitcher's warming up. I'll go right behind the catcher, and I'll go, hey, I'm right behind you. And I'll crouch with the wide angle to get the catcher and all the infielders and the pitch coming. And I had a game,
Awesome.
we were playing the Red Sox about 8 years ago. I can't remember who the culprit, one of the umpires. I go, and the umpire, you know how sometimes they go down
Right.
just to see what the guy's got. And I said, hey, I'm right behind you. And he says, are you nuts? He said, you're shooting here without a mask? And I said, you know what? Pussies wear masks. I don't need a mask. And he said, well, how long are you going to be here? And I said, only a couple innings. And he didn't say anything. After 3 pitches, I left.
He's terrified you're there.
But it's trust. I mean, in spring training this year, I got buzzed once by one of our pitchers accidentally. And Randy Johnson's last year in Seattle,
Jesus, you killed a bird.
They were playing. Well, that was in spring training, but they're playing here. And at the end of the top of the 7th, the guy next to me said, "Wow, look at the scoreboard." I said, "What?" "I know we have no runs." He said, "You have no hits." And I thought, "Oh shit, I haven't gotten anything of him behind the plate yet." So I went, and you see me do it.
Right.
Here. Went behind the plate. He's warming up, and so I'm locked in. I take a couple shots, and he's like waving, but I didn't equate that with me. So the next, he throws, and it's just him filling the frame. Pitch went by and almost clipped my ear, hit the backstop, and then hit me in the back. And he's going, "Get out of there!" And so I'm not going to say anything. So I walked over here. Our leadoff guy got a base hit. I remember Chavi came over to me. He said, "Z, you should have done that in the 3rd inning." 5 years later, Randy's with the Yankees. He comes over. He wants to get some rock and roll pictures. We're talking about some things, and he mentions that. And I said, "Oh yeah, that was me." He goes, "That wasn't you." He said, "That was some asshole," was the word he used. I said, "Randy, that was me. I thought you knew that." He said, "That was you?" I said, hell, if I knew that was you, I wouldn't have buzzed you. I would have drilled you.
Jesus, Randy. All right. This is the painful one.
All right.
What shot you wish you could have back? The one you missed, umpire, out of focus, you name it. What shot you wish you could have back?
Matt, there are probably so many. I could go on for hours, but I remember opening day, I want to say 89 or 90. Stu's on the mound. We're playing the Mariners. It's Ken Griffey's first game in the big leagues.
Oh, God.
Randy Strand is the photo editor for Sport Magazine. He said, look, I know you're the team photographer, but, we're doing a cover story on Griffey. Can you shoot him? We'll pay you day rate. I want to get his especially, get some post stuff if you can in the next couple days, but we want to get his first at bat. No problem. So he's leading off, first batter. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to get the first pitch from Stu. And then after that, I'll get Griffey.
Sure.
Come on, Stu throws the first pitch. Griffey doubles first pitch.
Jesus.
I'm like, so that was one. Believe me, there are many more.
But you got Stu.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know what? On Gibby's home run, 88 series, I moved from the photo thing into our dugout, and I'm right on Eck.
Oh, God.
I think Mike gave us a walk, and I just stayed on him because I wanted to get him pumping as he struck this guy out, and we win game one of the series.
Right.
And I've got a great shot of him turning and looking. And
it's not a photo missed, though. It's an interesting photo created.
Yeah.
That was nothing you could do.
Well, it's kind of like being on Ralph Branca for the Bobby Thompson
Right,
home run.
right.
Everybody's got Bobby Thompson, but I've got Ralph Branca.
All right, if you could be commissioner for a day and change one rule in baseball, what would it be? A lot of talk now is like the National League, get rid of the DH,
Well, you know what?
or bring in the DH.
I'd want to bring in the DH, although more and more now, it's probably better that it's the way it is. It separates the two leagues.
I like that too.
Yeah, and it makes it a little different. I don't know. I mean, I want to say I'd like to speed the game up a little, but there's not really a lot you can do about that. I don't know. I like
Maybe
the game.
cut some of the TV time, take 20 seconds off of TV.
Yeah. Well, that's, you're talking money. If I could do one thing, it would be to eliminate the excess money in terms of how the game's still affordable for families, albeit just barely. But in a lot of the new stadiums, you can't even get access to some of the lower seats.
Right, you can't get to the
You have to
bowl.
go in a special area, and I think that's wrong. I mean,
Right.
that's classism, and that's never been what baseball's about.
Right, you get a seat in the view section, there's no way you're getting an
Yeah,
autograph.
it's almost like the colored section.
Right.
You're down the line.
Right, you've
Yeah.
got to drop $80 to $100 to get a chance at an autograph.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so I would change that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, if you could play baseball,
Hmm?
what position would you play?
Probably start in center field, and then later in your career move to first base. Because all of us that ever played on any level, as you know, the older we get, the better we remember ourselves being, and we figured, yeah, I could rip this guy, or I could have gone to that ball.
I could
You
chase
can't
that
catch
down.
that.
Come on. Okay. Your favorite baseball photo that you've ever taken?
Wow. That's hard. I'm not a great favorite photo.
How about one that you would print up for somebody as a gift? That's
Well-
kind of how it falls in for me.
Right. It depends on the person. I mean, I guess Ricky in midair stealing his record base would be one for a number of fans. For me, there might be any number of shots. in the clubhouse. I've got a great picture during a rain delay in the 1990 All-Star game of everybody in the American League clubhouse. Some guys are playing cards and bullshitting. Some guys are sitting around, the TV's on.
Right.
And you see virtually a Hall of Fame list of players.
Yeah, 1990. God, that's a collection of guys.
Yeah, it really is. And I've got
Kirby
shots.
Puckett and Cal Ripken. I mean, you can go on and on, the guys in that.
Yeah. Well, to me, that's, you're behind the scenes and you're like in the inner sanctum where most fans
Right.
don't go.
Yeah, there's not a chance you're getting in there.
I've got a shot of that I like of Stu and Jose are playing dominoes before a game. Or no, Stu and Ricky are playing dominoes before the game. And Ricky's got one of those box cuts. And Jose's standing behind him dropping bits of tape in a cross on his head. And Stu's got a shirt that has the top 10 things in do's and don'ts in baseball. It's one of those moments in the clubhouse.
Right.
And I love stuff like that.
That's good stuff. All right, film or digital? Which one?
Well, I still love film. You know what I miss? I miss proof sheets.
Oh, yes.
I miss and what I started doing both in baseball and football and rock and roll, I've started blowing up to 20 by 24 old proof sheets that I've marked with all the stuff on
Yes.
it. Nolan Ryan's no-hitter here, the last batter he pitched to. I've got the whole series with, that's when we had a scoreboard up where you could
Right.
see the scoreboard and him, and then what I had marked in yellow and orange pens, stuff like that. I love that. You can't do that with digital. I love making the big prints with a filed out negative carrier.
Right.
That's what I miss about film.
Yeah, where can I put my order in to get that Nolan Ryan?
Let me know. I'll have it printed up and sent to you. I bet.
That's fantastic. But you're right. You can't get that stuff anymore like that.
Well, the other thing is, I've got from 2003 on, all this shit in storage and all the digital stuff. I can ring it up, but it's hard to find it. And like Brad, who does nothing but baseball, he's got it all categorized. So
Sure.
you can go year by year. If you ask me to look for something from last year, I'm like, fuck. But all the other stuff, I've got proof sheets every year. I can not write to it, but it's there.
But you'll know.
And I miss throwing slide sheets down where I can look at the slides.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like looking at Chrome on a table.
Oh, you know what? There's as great as digital is in so many ways, and we both know it's peerless in some ways. There's nothing comes close to the color of Kodachrome.
No, nothing.
It was just, and there were some days, especially in like late September, Kodachrome 64.
Oh.
It's like 3D. It's just like retina attack.
That's beautiful. All right, do you have any tips for shooting baseball for the youngsters out there?
Yeah. Be a trust fund kid, and then you won't have to worry about having to make a living. Well, you know what? No, all kidding aside, try to see the game and portray the game as you see it. And if you want to try to make a living at it, first of all, at a certain point, you need the equipment.
Right.
But try to take a tact and an angle that most people don't.
Right.
And try to bring people into your vision and show them something that's unusual.
Right. That'll be it right there.
Yeah. Because what you do, what I do, I think what anybody that tries to make a living at this is at the very least a visual diary.
Right. Absolutely. I feel I'm the historian for the organization,
Yeah.
not the team, because there's all the employees, everything around it.
Yeah.
But I am their White House photographer.
And with the fans, what you see and show them, that's as close as most people get. And for many people, that's their dreams.
Sure.
I look at that stuff, and when I was a little kid, and for hours, I'd be on the floor thinking, God, I want to be there.
Right.
I want to be in this picture. I want to play. And at a certain point, I thought, if I can't play, I want to record. And
That's great.
if you can't play, doing what you do and what I do, it's the next best thing.
That's great. I'm going to leave it on that. Michael, thank you for being the very first. You're the best.
Definitely not the last.
Absolutely. Thanks.
It was great. Thank you, Matt.